Today in Indian Geography, we'll be learning about coal. Coal is the main source of energy in the country. It fulfills about 67% of the total commercial energy needs. It is a fossil fuel also known as the black gold. The demand for coal was estimated to be 908.4 million tons, while the actual supply was 621.26 million tons. In the year 2017 to 18, Coal India Limited produced 567.366 million tons and SCCL 62.010 metric tons of coal. In that year, main producer of lignite was Neyveli Lignite Corporation and produced 25.153 metric tons. Odisha registered highest coal production of 143.328 metric tons, followed by Chhattisgarh with 142.546 metric tons. Jharkhand produced 123.296 metric tons and Madhya Pradesh 112.127 metric tons. In 2017-18, Tamil Nadu was the largest producer of lignite and produced 23.569 metric tons, followed by Gujarat with 13.392 metric tons and Rajasthan 9.294 metric tons in the year 2017 and 18. So let's learn about it. Objectives. In today's class, we will learn about the classification of coal, history of coal mining in India, the distribution of coal in India, and the problems in the coal industry, and why we have to conserve coal, and the government initiatives. The coal of India may be classified under two categories, Gondwana coal and tertiary coal. The Gondwana coal period belongs to the Carboniferous period, which is 570 million years to 245 million years ago. It is found in the Damodar, Mahanadi, Godavari and the Narmada valleys, Raniganj, Jhadia, Bokaro, Ramgarh, Girith, Chandrapur, Karanpura, Tatapani, Talcher, Himgiri, Korba, Pench Ghati, Sarguja, Kampeti, Wardha Valley, Singareni and Siliguri are some of the important coal mines of the Gondwana formations. The Jhingurda coal mine, which is in Madhya Pradesh, is the thickest coal seam, 132 meters of the Gondwana period, followed by Kargeli seam near Bokaro coalfield, which is about 37 meters in thickness. Over 98% of the total coal reserves of India belong to the Gondwana period. The Gondwana coal is mainly bituminous or anthracite, in which carbon content varies between 60 to 90%. The bituminous coal is converted into coke before being used in the iron and steel industry. The next period is the tertiary period. The tertiary coal is found in the rocks of the Oligocene period of the tertiary era. It is about 15 to 60 million years old. The tertiary coal is also known as the brown coal. The tertiary coal contributes only about 2% of the total coal production in the country. It is an inferior type of coal in which the carbon varies between 30% in Gujarat and Rajasthan to 50% in Assam. Lignite coal is found in Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Gujarat, Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, Nagaland, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. The largest lignite deposits of the country are at Neyveli in the state of Tamil Nadu. The different types of coal and their characteristics, now let's see them. Peat, it contains the highest percentage of moisture, gives more smoke, has less than 40% of carbon and therefore is the lowest and the most inferior quality of coal. It represents the first stage of the coal formation. Next we have the lignite. Lignite is also called as a brown coal. It is superior to peat. Under the increasing pressure and heat with the passage of time, peat is converted into lignite. It contains 40 to 60% carbon. It is mainly found in Neyveli in Tamil Nadu, Palna in Rajasthan, Lakhimpur in Assam, Jantia Hills in Meghalaya, Nagaland, Kerala, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Lignite deposits in India have been estimated around 38,930 million tons, out of which 4,250 million tons are in Neyveli area of Tamil Nadu. Lignite is also found in Gujarat and Kerala. Bituminous coal, which is also called as the black coal. When coal is buried very deep, the moisture gets expelled. The seam subjected to increased temperatures results into the formation of the bituminous coal. It is dense, compact and black in color. The traces of original vegetation from which it has been formed are found in the coal. Containing 60 to 80% carbon, it is the most popular coal in commercial use. The name is derived after a liquid called bitumen, released after heating. Bituminous coal is also used in making coke, gas coal and steam coal. Coking coal results from heating of the coal in the absence of oxygen, which burns off volatile gases and is mainly used in the iron and steel industry. Most of the bituminous coal is found in Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Now we have the anthracite, which is the hard coal. It is the highest quality of coal, containing 80 to 90% carbon. It has very little volatile matter and insignificant proportion of moisture. It has short blue flame. Of all the coals, it's the most expensive. India has a long history of coal mining, covering nearly 220 years, starting from 1774 by Miss Summer and Heatley of East India Company in Raniganj coalfield along the western bank of the river Damodar. However, for about a century, the growth of Indian coal mining remained sluggish for want of demand, but the introduction of steam locomotives in 1853 gave a fillip to it. Within a short span, production rose to an annual average of 1 million ton, and India could produce 6.12 metric tons per year by 1900 and 18 metric tons per year by 1920. The production got a sudden boost from the First World War, but through a slump in the early 30s. The production reached a level of 29 metric tons by 1942 and 30 metric tons by 1946. With the advent of independence, the country embarked upon the 5-year developmental plans. At the beginning of the first plan, annual production went up 33 metric tons. During the first plan itself, the need for increasing coal production efficiently by systematic and scientific development of the coal industry was being felt. Setting up of the National Coal Development Corporation (NCDC), a Government of India undertaking in 1956 with the collieries owned by the railways as its nucleus, was the first major step towards the planned development of Indian coal industry. Along with the Singareni Collieries Company Limited, which was already in operation since 1945 and which became a government company under the control of Government of Andhra Pradesh in 1956, India thus had 2 government coal companies in the 50s. SCCL is now a joint undertaking of Government of Andhra Pradesh and Government of India, sharing its equity in 51:49 ratio. The major states having large proportion of the coal reserves of the country are Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. A brief account of coal reserves in these states has been, we will be studying that. Let's look at it. Firstly, the state of Jharkhand. It accounts for about 29%, has the first rank in the coal reserves, 80.716 million tons, and its production is happening here. Most of the coal belongs to the Gondwana period. The districts of Dhanbad, Dumka, Hazaribagh and Palamu are very rich in coal deposits. The main coal mining centers are Auranga, Bokaro, Daltonganj, Dhanbad, Giridih, Hutar, Jharia, Karanpur and Ramgarh. Now let's look at some of the few important coal fields. Firstly, the Jharia coal field. Out of all the coal mines of Jharkhand, Jharia is the most important and the largest coal mining place, which sprawls over an area of about 460 square kilometer. It contains the best metallurgical coal, which is bituminous in nature, of course. Nearly 90% of the coking coal is produced from Jharia mine. Its coal is mainly supplied to the iron and steel plants of Asansol, Bokaro, Durgapur and Jamshedpur. The next coal field that is important in Jharkhand, the Bokaro coal field. This coal field stretches in the valley of Bokaro river in Hazaribagh district about 32 kilometers to the west of Jharia. The Kargil seam of Bokaro coalfield is one of the thickest of the Gondwana period in India. Its coal is mainly supplied to the iron and steel plant of Bokaro. The Giridhi or the Karharbari coalfield. The Giridhi coalfield stretches in the district of Hazaribagh. Its seams are very close to the surface. It provides one of the finest quality of bituminous coal used for the metallurgical industry. Its coal is supplied to Bokaro and Jamshedpur steel plants. Next we have the Karanpur coalfield. The Karanpur coalfield is divisible into the north and the south Karanpur coalfields. It lies only about 30 kilometers to the west of Bokaro. The thickness of this seam is about 25 meters. Much of the coal is however non-coking. Next we have the Ramgarh coalfield. Stretching over an area of about 100 square kilometers, the Ramgarh coalfield is only about 9 kilometers to the west of the Bokaro coalfield. The coal of Ramgarh is of relatively inferior quality, containing a high proportion of ash and carbon. The next important coalfield here is the Hutar coalfield. Stretching over about 200 square kilometers, the Hutar coalfield lies in the Palamu district. Its seams are however thin and the coal is of inferior quality, containing about 50% carbon, 30% volatile matter and 20% ash. Next we have the Daltonganj coalfield. This is spread over 55 square kilometers. This coalfield lies in the Palamu district. Its coal is either semi-anthracite or non-coking of inferior quality, which cannot be used in metallurgical industries. Next we have the Devgarh coalfields. The coalfield lies in the Dumka district and stretches over an area of about 20 square kilometers. The coal is of inferior quality, containing about 40% carbon, 25% volatile matter and 35% ash content. Its coal is mainly used in the brick kilns. Next we have Odisha. The state of Odisha has more than 24% of the total coal reserves and produces about 15% of the total coal production of the country. It has the coal inventory of 77.285 billion tons. In Odisha, most of the coal deposits are found in Dhenkanal, Sambhalpur and Sundargarh districts. Next we have the Talcher coalfield. Stretching over Dankel and Sambhalpur districts, the Talcher coalfield covers an area of about 500 square kilometers. It has the second largest coal reserves with 51.163 billion in the country after Raniganj. The coal is however of low grade, containing only about 35% of fixed carbon, 40% volatile matter and about 25% ash content. The coal is mainly used in the thermal power and fertilizer plants of Talcher. So now we move on to the next state, which is Chhattisgarh. This has the third largest coal reserve, about 17% of all of India, 52,533 million tons in the country after Jharkhand and Odisha. But it holds the first rank in the production. Coal deposits are found in Bilaspur, Betul, Chindwara, Narsinghpur, Raigad, Rewa and Surguja districts. Well, now we move on to the next state, which is Madhya Pradesh. Singrauli, Sohagpur and Umaria, Bisrampur, Jhilmili, Ramkola, Tattapani, Korba and Sandurgarh, Pench and Kanha Valley, Mand River and Patakhera and Dulhara are the main mining centers of coal in Madhya Pradesh. The Singrauli coalfield, stretching over the Siddhi and the Shahdol districts, the largest coalfield of Madhya Pradesh, its Jhingurda coal seam with thickness of 132 meters is the thickest coal seam of the country. The coal belongs to the Gondwana period, which contains 40 to 50% of fixed carbon. Its coal is mainly utilized in the thermal power plant of Korba. Now let's look at it. The Korba coal field lies in the Bilaspur district. Two of its coal seams are more than 30 meters. The coal is of average quality and is used mainly in the Korba thermal power plant. Next we have the Pench Kanha Tawa coal field. It lies in the Chindwara district. In quality, its coal is of coking and semi-coking category. Next we have the Umaria coal field. This coal field lies about 60 kilometers south of Katni. The coal consists a higher percentage of ash and moisture. It is used mainly in the generation of the thermal power. In addition to these, coal is also mined at Jhilmili, Sonahat and Tattapani coalfields of Surguja district. Next we have West Bengal. West Bengal has about 11% of the total coal reserves of India. The coal deposits of West Bengal lie in Bankura, Bardhaman, Birbhum, Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri and Purulia districts. The most important of the coal reserves in the mining coalfield of West Bengal is Raniganj. Raniganj coalfield, stretching over 185 square kilometer in the Bardhaman and Birbhum district to the northwest of Kolkata, it is the most important coalfield of West Bengal. It is known for the good quality of coking coal. It contains 50 to 65% of carbon. It is used in the metallurgical industry, especially in the Durgapur iron and steel plant. Next we have the Darjeeling coalfield. The coal of Darjeeling district belongs to the tertiary period. It is exposed in the Mana and the Mahanadi valleys. The coal is in powder form with coking quality. About 8% of the coal reserves of India are found in Madhya Pradesh. The main coal deposits lie at Singrauli, Muhpani, Satpura, Sohagpur and Pench Kanha. Next we have Andhra Pradesh. About 7% of the coal reserves of India are found in Andhra Pradesh. Its main coal deposits are found in Godavari Valley. The districts of Adilabad, Khammam, Nellore and Warangal are known for its production. Coal is mainly used in the thermal power plants of Kottagudem, Nellore, Ramagundam and the fertilizer plant at Ramagundam. The Singreni coalfield, lying about 185 kilometers to the east of Hyderabad, is the main mining area of coal in Andhra Pradesh, which is Telangana right now. Another important coal producing center is at Kottagudem. Its coal seam is about 18 meters and the coal is of good quality. Next we have Maharashtra. The main coal deposits of Maharashtra lie in the Wardha Valley, stretching over Nagpur and Yavatmi districts. The coal from these coalfields is utilized by railways and the thermal power stations of Trombe, Chola, Khaperkheda, Paras, Ballasha, Nasik and Koradi. Next we have Tamil Nadu. The state of Tamil Nadu has the largest deposits of lignite at Neyveli in South Arcot district. The seams are 10 to 12 meters in thickness. Its carbon and moisture contents are 30 to 40% and 20% respectively, while the volatile matter varies between 40 to 45%. Next we have the state of Rajasthan. Lignite deposits are found in the districts of Bikaner, Palana and Khari mines. The thickness of Bikaner seams varies from 5 to 15 meters. It is of inferior quality and used mostly in the thermal power plants and railways. Gujarat. In Gujarat, coal is found in Barauch district and Kutch. The coal is of poor quality with about 35% carbon and more moisture. Next we have Jammu and Kashmir. The tertiary coal in Jammu and Kashmir is found at Raithan of the Shaliganga, Handwada, Baramulla, Raisi and Udhampur districts and the Karewas of the Bagdam and Srinagar. It is of inferior quality with less than 30% of carbon, over 15% moisture and 30% volatile matter. Next we have the state of West Bengal. In West Bengal, lignite deposits of the tertiary period are found in the Bura hills of Jalpaiguri and Darjeeling districts. Scattered deposits of lignite have also been discovered in Puducherry. Now let's look at India with international perspective. India is the third largest producer of coal in the world after China and United States, contributing about 5% of the total coal production. In 1950 to 51, the total production of coal and lignite was 323 and 0.4 lakh tons, which rose to 6,319 and 612 lakh tons in 2015-16. The coal mines were nationalized in 1972, after which there had been a tremendous increase in the coal production. The main problems of coal mining can be understood and we'll try to deal with few of them. Unequal distribution of coal. The distribution of coal in India is mainly confined to Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. The transportation cost is consequently heavy, which makes this vital source of energy expensive. Next main problem is the poor quality of coal. Most of the mines in India are producing non-coking coal which cannot be utilized for metallurgical industries. Then the next problem is the less efficiency in the transport system. Most of the coal in India is transported by trains. Adequate number of wagons are not available and the railway system is not efficient enough to deliver the coal at distant places in shorter time. Next, the main problem is the obsolete method of mining. The mining technology is outdated and the per worker production is low. The per ton cost of production is high. Next, we have the shortage of power supply. The shortage of power supply is a big barrier in the mining of coal. Next problem is the fires and waterlogging. There occur heavy losses of coal because of fires and waterlogging in the mines and at the pit heads. Conservation of coal. Why we should conserve it? Coal is an exhaustible resource. It needs to be used judiciously. Firstly, the coking and the good quality coal should be reserved only for metallurgical industry. Low grade coal should be washed and impurities removed by modern techniques. Selective mining should be stopped by an act of law. All possible grades of coal should be obtained from all the mines. Environmental safety laws should be effectively implemented and the thermal power plants should be located at the pit heads to enhance power generation. And the pilferages and the theft of electricity should be minimized. New reserves should be discovered. The non-conventional sources of energy should be popularized. Well, these could be some steps in conserving of the coal. Now let's look at what are the governmental initiatives. The ministries of power, coal, new and renewable energy and mines have taken the initiatives to make the mission of 24/7 affordable clean power for all as well as Ujjwal Bharat successful. The principles involved are Sulabh, which is accessible power. Next we have Sasti, which is cheap power, and we have Swachhi, which is clean power, and which is Sanjyoti, which is well planned infrastructure, and Sunishchit, which is assured power for all, and next we have Surakshit, which is empowering each citizen of India with transparent governance and securing their future. Well, in order to ensure adequate coal for electricity, shortage to surplus, the government aims to produce 100 crore tons of domestic coal by 2019-20. The coal imports have been reduced. The principle of less coal for more power in 2016-17 resulted in the use of 0.63 kg of coal to produce 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. Next, they've introduced the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshetra Kalyan Yojana, which will help the people affected by mining. The District Mineral Foundation under this particular program has collected about 7,150 crore rupees from mining during 2016-17 to be used for the welfare of the workers involved in the mining. Coal is the most important and abundant fossil fuel in India. It accounts for 55% of the country's energy needs. The country's industrial heritage was built upon indigenous coal. Commercial primary energy consumption in India has grown by about 700% in the last 4 decades. The current per capita commercial primary energy consumption in India is about 350 kilogram per year, which is well below that of the developed countries. Driven by rising population, expanding economy and a quest for improved quality of life, energy usage in India is expected to rise.